Okay, today I'm going to talk about the difference between like agitation and anxiety and the difference between the two, like after you eat. So, when I was in recovery and I would eat something that was like really challenging, like really challenging, and I'd finish it and I would feel this like highly agitated and just like irritable and almost like let down and frustrated. That was a sign that I didn't eat enough. Even if it was like a really challenging food and it was a lot of it, it still was a sign to me that I needed to eat more, because I started deciphering between that feeling and then the feeling of like just immense anxiety, like a little bit of excitement just because I was like, oh my gosh, I just ate so much food and ate everything that I wanted. And I really just crushed my eating disorder in every way possible. My anxiety's through the roof. That felt different to me than that agitation feeling. So if you're in recovery and you're realizing like, you know what, when I finish eating, I'm always agitated. I'm always like looking at the clock to see when I can eat again. I'm always feeling let down. I'm always sad that it went by too fast. And I'm always trying to drag out my meals. All of those things, that's going to lead to that agitated feeling or that irritability. Versus, like I said, when you know you've crushed something and you just like destroyed your lunch and you ate everything you wanted, there's kind of that adrenaline or that endorphin rush of like excitement, but also just like intense anxiety. That anxiety, though, is something you're going to have to get used to. You're going to have to like just kind of welcome and say, hey, come along for the ride through recovery, because this is going to be it. We're going to be anxious for a while. And that's okay. That is good anxiety. That kind of anxiety is going to get you to full recovery. The anxiety that you experience when, or I guess that anxiety that would be manifested more in like a feeling of being irritated or frustrated, that anxiety is not going to get you to full recovery, right? So, one thing that I was just speaking with a client about was when you we talk about Groundhog Day a lot. When you do something or you have days where you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you're feeling frustrated and, like, I don't know, or let's say you set out to do a challenge and you fail at it and you don't do it. An example here would be the candy bar challenge. Let's say you're like, I'm going to do a candy bar challenge in the morning and I'm going to go straight to a big breakfast. I'm going to do it, crush it. And you wake up in the morning and you do the candy bar, but then you freak out and you wait a few hours to eat breakfast. And it's a safer breakfast you kind of had many times. It doesn't scare you. And then lunch feels really hard and you're delaying it. And then you went for a walk and all these things, right? That would be considered kind of like failing the test, right? Like that didn't go so well. That was kind of a bummer. That kind of just didn't go as planned. And I think back to like when I was in school, and not to say that I failed tests, but you know that there was that option, like when you're in elementary school, let's say you didn't do well on a spelling test or something, or math or whatever, and the teacher would be like, here, take this home, review it, and then I'll give you a retake. You can retake the test, but you get to like study all the answers. Like any kid that wanted to do well in school would look at that, study it, and go back and just go in with so much confidence that they're like, going to ace this test. I've got all the answers to it. Why wouldn't I? And I kind of see that as these things in recovery when you get tripped up, these times when you feel like you're failing or you feel like you fell short of a challenge. It's okay. Just look at that day and retract and go, okay, so I woke up, I had the candy bar challenge, and then where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong in that situation after the candy bar? Oh, I stalled on breakfast. I didn't eat right away. And then my breakfast was really safe. Okay. And then also after breakfast, I went on this silly walk because I was freaking out about the candy bar. And then instead of eating lunch when I typically would, I dragged it back. And you can kind of go back and troubleshoot your day. And essentially that's you studying and then retaking the test. So then the next morning you get to wake up and you get to do it again. But you have all the answers. You know exactly what you need to do different. Okay, so the right answers today would be to wake up, eat a candy bar, go straight to breakfast, have a really big breakfast, no walking. I'm going to read a book and I'm going to have more snacks and I'm going to have lunch right when I usually have lunch. I'm not delaying it. I'm having a really bold, in fact, I'm going to go out to lunch just to make sure I'm really getting this right. And you can kind of have a redemption, right? You can have another chance. But in recovery, we oftentimes just get stuck into this black and white thinking. And it's like, well, I failed that miserably. So that is not going to work for me. That'll never work. And it's like, well, no, it will. Just be really honest with yourself and reflect back and troubleshoot the things that you did wrong. And then just like in school, when you could retake a test, you get to do that again. And you get to study all the answers and you get to make the corrections you need and then feel really confident at the end of that day or at the end of that test that you aced it. So that's my message to you going into the weekend. And yeah, hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.